Hi everyone. I haven't uploaded an actual video in a long time. I'm not gonna dwell on it. Let's just get into it. So, I'm just gonna preface this whole video by saying I am not a very thorough music listener. You know, I kind of find what I like and then I listen to it until I'm tired of it, pretty much. So, me being a little casual music listener, for me to have this much new stuff to talk about that I've listened to this year, it's great. I've really expanded my music listening this year, well, at least more than I did before. So, I'm basically just gonna talk about how my music listening was over 2022. Now, I'm not gonna be exclusively talking about music that came out this year. I'm just gonna talk about music that I listened to this year. So before getting into what I actually listened to, prior to 2022, I had three main artists that were my favorite. They're still all up there, but those three are and were Brockhampton, Gorillaz, and deadmau5. No particular order, it fluctuates depending on what time of the year it is, pretty much. But now, at the end of this year, that list has changed quite a bit because there are a few new names into the fold. So first, I'm gonna start with just albums that I listened to this year that really stuck with me. Now, the thing is, I'm not a huge album listener. I find the songs I like, I put them into a playlist, and then I shuffle the playlist. That's how I listen to music. There are not many albums this year that I even listen to all the way through. Once again, that is another grain of salt. We're probably going to be able to season a good bit of fries at the end of this. And I'm tired, so those are the jokes I have right now. So, I'm gonna save the best album for last. People who know me would know what it is already. I'm going to start with Jungle. The reason why I'm starting with this one is because technically I listened to a lot of it for the first time at the end of 2021, but I only started calling myself a Jungle fan and a Jungle listener, I guess, once 2022 started going on, and you know, that's how years work anyway. So on this list, I am putting all three Jungle albums that have been released as of this moment in time. So that is the first album, which is self-titled. That is the second album, Forever, which I actually have right here. And then the third most recent album, Loving in Stereo, which came out last year. Or well, in 2021. It's January 5th. So starting off with the first one, the self-titled album. So the self-titled album is, to this point, still I think the most consistent with just the overall sound of it. A lot of the songs definitely sound like they're kind of in the same kind of vibe, pretty much. But this album just has a few all-time classics. Starts off with The Heat. Busy Earning is I don't even really feel like I need to say much about it because it just is the song that it is. It's their most popular for a reason. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely what I would categorize as their quote-unquote best song, if you can even say that. Time is another amazing song. Julia as well. There's Crumbler. I'm looking over because I've got the track list over here, but so many good songs. A few like underrated ones as well. And overall, like just a really good album. So now moving on to the second album, Forever. Now, this one I think is my favorite of the three that they've released so far. I think it's just the most consistently good album, just overall consistency with just bangers back to back. I'm literally just gonna look at this and read off the first 8 songs of this album. Smile, really good song. Heavy California, an absolute bop, and you probably can't not move a part of your body listening to it. Cherry is, I think, my favorite Jungle song, and I think it's underrated. I don't know. I don't really know what the general consensus on it is, but it's my favorite. Happy Man, single, really good. Casio, one of their best songs. Mama Oh No, underrated, really good song. House in LA, beautiful song. 2 songs later, 'Cause You're Mine, amazing song. Pray at the end. The other 3 songs I'm not like too familiar with, so I'm not going to go into. The songs that I listed, all amazing, and I think that this is their best album. But let's not forget that they have a 3rd one, and it's also really good, and it's called Loving in Stereo, and we will talk about it now. So moving on to their latest album, Loving in Stereo. Now this one has a lot of really good songs as well. It definitely kind of strays off the path a bit of the first 2, but it still sounds like them. It's weird to explain. It's definitely a lot more growers in this album than the first 2. It definitely took more listens of these songs for me to start like really understanding why they're good. Let me just list some of the songs that are really good. Keep Moving, of course. Beautiful song. All of the Time, awesome. I don't have many words in my arsenal to describe these songs, especially because I'm tired right now, but I'm doing my best. Romeo featuring Boss, Lifting You, probably like secretly my favorite song on the album, maybe? I don't know, I mean, that song is underrated. Bonnie Hill, Feels Like You're in a Roller Rink, talk about it, I can't get enough of the bass line in that song. Goodbye My Love featuring Priya Ragu is an underrated song, and it took me a long time to come around to it. Alright, so I just had to stop recording for like an hour because my computer decided to start being weird. So I'll try and move on from where I was. So I was talking about Loving in Stereo. Goodbye My Love featuring Priya Ragu is a great song, underrated, slept on. I think I said that. And it finishes off with Can't Stop the Stars, which is another underrated song. It's a great song. Those are all 3 Jungle albums. I love them all. I went to see Jungle in September. It was everything I could have ever imagined. It was awesome. I also went to see Gorillaz in October. That was amazing. Those were my first 2 concerts of my life. I was supposed to see Brockhampton in March, but they broke up before I was able to attend the concert. We'll get more into Brockhampton later, but so the next album that we're going to talk about is the Kendrick Lamar album. Now, I only listened to it a couple times, so I'm not as familiar with it as the other albums, but I did enjoy it. This isn't a new opinion, but it's obviously not as good as his other ones, but you know, it's got some really good moments on it, and it's overall just conceptually good, and you know, it's a good album. It's one of the only albums I listened all the way through this year, so multiple times even. So yeah, good album. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm not gonna go through the track list. So now the next one is pretty interesting. So after like a 7-year hiatus, Stromae came back and released an album, Multitude, this year. So I loved Stromae's album in 2015. I listened to it like 2 years ago, so I didn't listen to it when it came out. I was 13, so. But yeah, that album is amazing. The live edited version on it that he has on his channel, it's probably like the best video of a live concert that I've seen, and I would recommend it. I'm probably gonna link it in the description anyway. Yeah, so anyway, on to his album that he released this year. Now, the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because there are multiple songs that I love on it. Santé is a great song. Fille de Joie is a great song. I love the instrumental on it. And like his voice always sounds like the crispest thing I've ever heard in my life. I love how his production is always so simple and yet not at the same time. He gets so much out of so little like elements. I guess the one thing about this new album that like I didn't really get with me is there are quite a few songs that fall flat for me. I guess they're just not very memorable. Just corny ass lyrics in there too, but I guess if you don't speak French, it's not a problem. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that album. Now, the last 2 albums are by the same artist, and I guess I'll just get it out there now. This artist has become maybe my favorite artist. Definitely in like the top 3, and that is J.I.D. And I'll start with his first full-length album that he released, and that is The Never Story.
Kicked out of college for tongues, niggas be talking. I wasn't even on camera, just hit the. Okay. Never been shit, never had shit, never knew shit, never out, never do shit, damn. But a nigga never gave 2 shits. The truth. what you expect me to say.
Now with J.I.D, like, going into the year, I had no idea who he was. I really didn't. And then in, like, the spring, I heard a couple of the Dreamville songs he's on. Down Bad is an awesome song. I'll probably talk about it more later. Surround Sound came out early in the year, and I heard that. I don't remember exactly when I heard it. But yeah, basically, over the course of the year, I just speed ran becoming a J.I.D fan. I was even almost becoming a fan even before he released an album in August that we'll definitely talk about in a second. But The Never Story came first in 2017. Yeah, so I had heard a couple of things from the Dreamville stuff. After I went and listened to the Forever Story is when I came back and listened to this all the way through. It almost made me appreciate it even more because of how these two albums are tied together. But like when it comes to consistency on this album, there's 12 tracks and 10 of them are in my playlist. The two that I haven't listened to, it's because I haven't got around to like re-listening to them yet. As an intro, Doo Wop is awesome, and it ties in with the intro on the Forever Story. General is just super fun to listen to because he just goes crazy for 4 minutes talking about his life. And then he carries that into Never, which was his first like big song pretty much. Never didn't really like hit me the first time. Once I started listening to it more times, I was like, okay, I get it now. And then there's Ed Netty, which is like one of the first songs I heard from him. I love it. The beat is awesome. And I love it just sounds like he's messing around on it. Division featuring EARTHGANG is my favorite song on the album. I love the beat on that song and all 3 verses are just really good. Hereditary is awesome. He proved that he can sing before even the new album came out. And then he proved it again on All Bad, the next song, and Mariba is awesome on it. Underwear is like one of his it's his oldest song that's on Spotify. It's a really good song. It's a bit goofy too. The lyrics are like wacky. He was just messing around. 8701 with Black, that's an awesome song. It took me a second to come around to it. I kind of wish it was longer, but... And then at the end there's Lauder, an awesome closer for this album. I love the little tying in like that piano thing with the whoop 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 going. People who listen to the album, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I love this album, and it's a great segue into my favorite album of the year, and maybe my favorite album of my life so far. So, The Forever Story.
J.I.D back in the city with it. J.I.D done been all across the globe. They say J.I.D scribblers.
Woke up at 6, pray to a 9, 12, was already...
Everybody wanna come and hang with the stars. Pinky ring chain, bling bling in the cars. 100 miles.
So, I first listened to this album not long after it came out. My stupid ass took like a few days to actually listen to the whole thing after it came out. Probably at the beginning of September, and it came out at the end of August. I don't even know like what I can sit here and say about this that other people haven't already said. I've gone through the track lists of all the other songs, but I've, kind of skipped the ones that didn't really stick with me. But I could genuinely just list you the 15 songs, including the intro, for this album, and none of them would deserve not to be there. After I first listened to it, I went back over the next few days and probably listened to it another 30 times. It was all I listened to for a few days. It pretty much took over my Spotify stats and all that. I'm not showing you my Spotify Wrapped. It has Jack Harlow on it. I don't want to publicly share the photo of it. I don't want that to be taken to my grave. I've said it on camera now. It's because of one of his old songs from 2018 called Wasted Youth featuring Shloob. It's a great song. I don't know how old he was when he made it, but it's like almost like teenage, like innocence in a song. The beat is awesome. I listened to that song nonstop. Like, Jack Harlow made a boring album this year. I listened to it, it was boring as hell. He's White Drake. What can I say? I'm not gonna talk anymore about Jack Harlow. I didn't think I was gonna bring it up in this video, but I did. Back to The Forever Story. This is the part of the video where I list the tracks and what I like about all of them. Galaxy is the perfect intro. It ties in with the Never Story. Blah blah blah. Radar, there's like 4 beat switches. He goes crazy the whole time. Pretty much every line has substance behind it. There's like almost no filler there. And the hook is him getting a flag in a football game. Like, how much better could you open the album with? It's awesome. And then there's Dance Now. I don't need to say anything about that. It's a banger. Crack Sandwich, one of the best stories I've heard on a rap song. Can't Punk Me, my favorite song of the year. And it kind of ties in with the Division thing on the Never Story. That was my favorite song on the album. This is my favorite song on this album. It follows the same structure, except the EARTHGANG members switch order. They all go crazy. Every time it comes on when I'm driving, I rap along with it, excluding some words, of course. I will talk about it more when I talk about songs. Surround Sound was obviously the first off the album that I heard because it came out like in February or something. The hook is like super catchy. 21 Savage does pretty well to keep up on it. They kind of cut off Baby Tate, which was weird, but then it went into the beat switch and like he goes crazy, so I don't really care about that they cut her off. And I apologize again for looking there all the time, but I'm not going to be able to keep my thoughts together if I'm not reading something, so I'm sorry. The 7th track is Cody Blue 31, where he's like, hey, if you didn't remember, I can sing, by the way, and I'm better at it now. brockhampton featuring Lil Durk, great song. Lil Durk doesn't fully keep up on it, but he does better than I thought he would. System M is 6 minutes long, and he literally cuts off the last verse. It could be longer, and I wouldn't complain. There's like a random James Blake secret feature on it. But yeah, just another great story on a song, but one that doesn't really have like an ending, and it kind of ends with that like uncertainty, and it's kind of cool. Once it goes through like that run of 3 songs, Cody Blue, Brudden M, and System M, you're like, oh, this album really is like a movie. On first listen and on further listens, once you start to pay attention to more of the lyrics and all that, you just really get more immersed in it as you go along. The replay value on this album is insane. And I know replay value gets played up a lot these days, but it really is something that I value a lot, especially with just the way I listen to music. My rap playlist has like 200 songs. Other people would have playlists with way more songs on them, but I just like focusing on the songs that I really, really like. I'm gonna tell you, every song from this album is in my playlist. Let's keep going through the track list. Can't Make You Change with Ari Lennox. Ari Lennox is a really good singer. I need to listen to one of her albums. There's a lot of people, I need to listen to their stuff. There's a lot of movies I need to watch. There's a lot of shows I need to watch, and my brain can't handle doing the first thing, so. Stars featuring Yasin Bey, aka Mos Def, was the front runner for my favorite song, like, after the first couple listens. I love the feeling of the whole song. I kind of wish we could have heard Mos Def on, like, the first beat, but the other beat it switches to is great, and that verse is ridiculous. I still don't really know what he's talking about, but he says really cool words, and I kind of understand some of the lines, and he's talking some stuff, you know? I'm trying to move through this as quickly as possible. Just in Time featuring Lil Wayne and Kenny Mason. Like, I forget this song exists all the time, and it's still like a 7 out of 10. The beat could be better. I think this song is just proof of 3 artists making a beat better than it actually is. J.I.D goes crazy on it. Kenny Mason's hook is great. Sometimes I can't get it out of my head. Lil Wayne does way better than I would expect him to in 2022. And then J.I.D had to come back on the end and just bookend it because he couldn't just let Wayne take it at the end, you know? Track 13 is Money. It's kind of like the out of left field song. It's definitely probably one of the most polarizing ones. You know, on some days I love it. On some days I'm like, you know, I'm not really sure. And at the end of the day, it's still a great song. And I love the children's choir on the chorus. Better Days featuring Jonte Austin. Jonte Austin is his cousin, I'm pretty sure. This is the song I've probably listened to the least off the album, and it's still an awesome song. The hook is really good. I like what Jonte Austin contributes, and I like the switch up that it goes to after. And then kind of the fake outro before 2007 was cleared is Lauder 2 featuring Raven Lene and Aaron Allen Kane, which I kind of glossed over that there was a person other than Raven Lene on this. It worked as the outro when it was originally released. It's crazy how it goes from like the hard aggressive bass line to the kind of breathing break. You kind of get some time to take a nap in the middle of the song and just listen to really good singing and really good production. But this isn't the last track because there is 2007. This song is 7.5 minutes long, and I still wish it was longer. There are about 10 different beats. He goes through the whole story of when he was playing football to when he stopped and when he started his music career. He has his dad talk for 2 minutes on it, and I listen to it every time. His dad's voice is like so captivating, and he says hey every 2 seconds. Yeah, I love 2007. I love every song on this album. I don't know what more I could say that could make anyone want to go and listen to it. If you haven't, please give it a try. Even if you're not that big into rap, there is something for you on this album. So enough gushing about it. Let's move on to songs. Now, I'll quickly go over the ones that were in albums I already talked about. Can't Punk Me was my favorite song of the year, featuring EARTHGANG.
Sweet, my, wow, greatest stop. Been frequent in the gunshot like a movie montage. Sipping Terramana, feeling
It's like the simplest instrumental of like almost all of the songs I've listened to this year, and yet it's the song I keep coming back to because it's like infectious. I love every single verse, every single moment of it. I love every line. Kaytranada's production is awesome. Can't Punk Me, I love that song. It's me repeating the same stuff over and over again. Give 2007 another shout out because that's definitely the best 7-minute song I've listened to. So that's another thing I can say about it.
Yeah, 2007, Cole dropped to come up. I was in high school playing corner. I never dreamt of
And then probably like the one song that I can guarantee like almost no one watching this video would know about. The people who do, it's because I showed it to you. It's in the Resonate playlist that I've contributed a few songs to over the months that it's been going. So yeah, so this song is Je Respire by Etienne Dufresne and Ariane.
Je ne sais pas ce que je fais. Pas de conseils pour
It's a French song coming out of Montreal, I think. I love this song. The instrumental is like so unique. It's got this like, it's kind of like a xylophone type melody going on with it. Yeah, like I brought up Stromae earlier in this song as well. I am a French speaker. I understand the lyrics. If you don't, it's still really good music that's worth checking out. When I first listened to it, it had like 400 streams or something. So the next 2 songs I'm gonna mention are both from an artist I didn't know about either. Is doechii, and I learned about it because of a YouTube series called Colors that I'm sure a lot of people interested in music would know about. Her performance of her song Stressed on that show is amazing.
I must be lost in my regrets. I must be down. I must be stressed. I got like 13.
She raps really well and sings really well on it. The instrumental is amazing. Her like confidence is awesome. I'm using like awesome, great, all the different synonyms. I'm gonna have to bring up a thesaurus in a second, but that song is awesome. I would recommend specifically the Colors performance because it's on Spotify as well, and I think it just generally sounds better than the original recording of the song. And then there's her song Persuasive that I just first listened to like a week ago, and it's making it on this list because I love the vibe of this song.
She's so persuasive, that marijuana. She's so flirtatious.
And then it switches to like a completely different vibe halfway through, and it's completely unexpected. You hear like the build up and it's like, oh, it's gonna go do this, and then it does something completely different. Yeah, that's what I got to say about that song. Next is Lord Forgive Me by Tobe and nwigwe featuring Pharrell and technically EARTHGANG, I guess.
Lord forgive me. Lord forgive me, I be putting in work. Lord forgive me, I was doing that dirt. Lord forgive me.
Even though you can barely hear Johnny Venus on the back of the chorus, it's kind of there if you have the volume really loud. But yeah, I love the beat to this song. It's like the delivery on it from Tobe and nwigwe is like, it's so like gravelly and like low. It's like he's almost whispering, but it works so much with like the feeling. Yeah, this was a song I played almost non-stop for like a week at some point in the year. Pharrell's hook on it is really good. I'm assuming he produced it as well. Yeah, it starts with the 4 count. Yeah, he produced it. Next is a Kevin Abstract song, Slugger, featuring Snot and Slowthai.
Yeah, in the lion's den, you can't hack the heat, you need to come out the kitchen in. Every dish is Michelin.
This song did not come out in 2022. It came out in 2021. I kind of listened to it once when it came out in 2021, kind of didn't get it the first time. And then I came back to it this year and fell in love with it. Kevin Abstract's part is really good. The Slowthai verse is awesome. I love it. He definitely has the best part on this song. Next is one I already talked about, is Division on the Never Story by J.I.D featuring EARTHGANG. Same as Can't Punk Me. It's kind of like I've compared them already. They're very similar in placement on the album, feature, structure, all that. Don't got any more to say about it. Next, EARTHGANG song, This Side, specifically the Colors performance of it.
3 a.m. the only time that I can hear myself think. Why is every waking moment feeling more like a dream?
Because that's the first time I heard the song. The album version is good too, but that version is better. This is a song that I had the privilege of seeing live because EARTHGANG opened for Gorillaz at the concert that I saw. It was awesome because I had already started listening to EARTHGANG a bit before I went to Gorillaz, so I was even able to familiarize myself even more, and I knew most of the songs that they played, so it was a really cool experience. This song in the performance was the best moment, and it's my favorite EARTHGANG song. It's so different to almost all their other stuff. I love the instrumental, and then it goes into this like trap beat for like 10 seconds near the end of the song. It goes hard. Alright, and then we'll get to the last 2 J.I.D songs I'm gonna talk about. And they're both kind of similar in a way. They both have crazy, like, Ethiopian sample beats. And it's Ambassel off the Madden 22 soundtrack, which is why it's, like, so underrated.
So what? Who wanna touch? Who wanna rough me up?
Nobody.
My head is ready to bust. Kicking the door when I come at the cut.
Yeah, it's like a 2-minute song. He goes crazy on it. The beat is awesome. Literally, when I played Madden 22, I went into the music and I unticked almost every song so that could almost play on loop. What can I say? It's a great song. I love Ambassel. And then the other song that kind of falls in the same vein is the 29 freestyle that he dropped in like summer some point, well, coming up to the album.
Trudging through the mud, you gotta pay me back in blood. Tap heads, call subs if you tired, bro.
This was kind of like almost the teaser track, even though it wasn't on the album. This song has one of the most unique beats I've heard off of like a mainstream rap song. It's got an interesting rhythm. It's still in like 4/4, even though it sounds like it's in some weird time signature. The way he just like maneuvers through this instrumental and comes up with like 20 different flows on it. Some of the lines on it are crazy. It's like one of my favorite of his songs, and it's not even on an album. I don't even know what to say about it, but it's awesome. So now we have 2 songs off the last, hopefully not the last ever, probably, I don't know, they're probably gonna come back, but Brockhampton, 2 songs off their last album, TM, New Shoes.
Still bang with the crew I came with. West side vibe, boy, I can't explain it. Sipping on down, nigga, love being faded.
New Shoes was kind of like the one like actual full out banger that we got out of that album. It's like them in full form, full chemistry. I wish there were a couple more members on it. But yeah, the instrumental on that song is great. It's just a classic kind of Brockhampton song. And then Man on the Moon is the complete opposite. It's unlike any song I've ever heard them make. The first listen, I was like, what the hell is this? And then I listened to it again, and I was singing along with the chorus. And that's all I have to say. So go listen to those 2 songs. The album is at least worth a listen. It's more of like a vibey album, but it kind of feels like they phoned it in. I'll talk more about that near the end. We've got another song with EARTHGANG on it here with Run It Up. This is a Snakehips song.
Run it up. I turn 5 to a 10. Yeah. I turn 10 to a M. Yeah. Fuck if my sin.
I've never really heard of Snakehips, but I've heard this song and I love it. And EARTHGANG performed it when they opened. This is just a really catchy song. And you know, I'm never not in the mood to listen to this song. Alright, next, kind of out of left field, we have a Justin Bieber song, Honest, featuring Don Toliver. It had like a music video on Lyric Lemonade that I saw, so that's how I found out about this song. It's almost like a guilty pleasure for me because I kind of feel embarrassed that I like this song so much because it is a very like poppy song, but I love the instrumental. The kicks are like the most over the top thing I've heard, but that's kind of what I love about it, layered with the 808. It sounds so cool. Don Toliver does pretty well on it too. Wanted to shout out that song for being good and also making me embarrassed about liking it. So then we got the one song off the Kendrick album that really stuck with me was Savior.
Wait a minute, ben aquí, c'est la vie, I tell the whole truth from A to Z.
Just because that instrumental is really good. I like what Kendrick does on it, but also Baby Keem on the hook does really well. And speaking of Baby Keem, we've got Durag Activity featuring Travis Scott as well.
Durag Activity. Durag Activity.
I love the beat on this. I love the whole feeling around it. I love how like laid back Baby Keem is on it. He kind of sounds like he's on some sleeping pills, but well, no, it almost doesn't. But he's just so like calm as he like just rides over this beat, and I did a horrible job of explaining that, but I really like that song. And Hooligan as well.
Baby Keem counting through Frito-Lay. I get the call and I go. Shawty go fuck on my goons. Stop it.
Has a really cool beat with like the whistling and the guitar like kind of riff thing that's going on there. I love the music video as well. Yeah, always a song that you can go back to and have a good time listening to. Speaking of Baby Keem, I haven't listened to his album that came out this year like completely in full. I listened to both songs with Kendrick. Family Ties is a really good song. I didn't feel like it needed to be mentioned. But yeah, I'm looking forward to what Baby Keem does. I'm sure he'll produce more songs that I like. So moving on to two jungle songs I haven't talked about. The two singles that they released this year, Good Times and Problems. Good Times has stuck with me more for sure. I liked Problems more at the beginning, but Good Times is just more memorable. Obviously, I got to see both of them live too as well. It was awesome. Yeah, definitely a bit different than what we were doing before. There's a flute on both of them, I think. They haven't done too much flute. My girl Lydia does a great job. We kind of started hearing the flute on Lovin' in Stereo, and we're hearing more flute on these two things. Maybe they're going more flute oriented with their next thing. Who knows? I don't know when their next thing is going to be. They seem real interested in doing DJ sets right now, so we'll see. And then the last song that I'm going to talk about here is Gorillaz' Cracker Island featuring Thundercat. I was going to put either this or the song with Tame Impala, but I just feel like in the long run, this song has more to offer, I think. I think it's just down to the fact that Cracker Island definitely starts as one type of song. It's like almost goes on for too long at the beginning where it's like, oh, I kind of wish it changed to something else. But then when it does and that bass really comes in and the instruments start to progress, you're like, oh yeah, this is what I wanted. And the payoff is a lot better. We'll see how that album is when it comes out. I guess we're not that far away now. But yeah, those are all the individual songs I have to talk about. That took me like 40 minutes to get through. Yeah, pretty much the last thing I wanted to talk about was how disappointed I was with the Brockhampton albums that came out this year. Now, leading up to The Family, which was the second last album, which we thought was going to be the last one, I don't know if they explicitly said that this album was going to be what it was. Once the two singles came out and they were just Kevin Abstract rapping over like soul samples, I was like, okay, is this what it's all gonna be? And then it pretty much was what it all was. And I listened to it once, like there were some good sounds on it, and he was talking about the stories and how Brockhampton ended and why. And I just can't revisit most of it. I don't know. I'm not interested in that. I was hoping for this big last bombastic go from Brockhampton, and they kind of just phoned it in. So what can you say? Once they released that horrible Minions soundtrack song, I was like, okay, I'm not too optimistic. So we'll see what they do with their solo careers. I'm hoping Joba drops a good album, or hopefully any of them drop anything good. That's pretty much all I have to say. It took way longer to record this than I thought it would, but I kind of started rambling on about certain things. So I guess I'll do the obligatory what am I gonna do with the YouTube channel? I'm gonna say I would love to make more videos. It all comes down to inspiration and how willing I am to do the whole filming, editing, and all that. And it just comes down to like what type of things I feel like making, because none of the games that I've been playing I feel compelled to like record and do anything. And in terms of in real life, maybe more stuff like this, talking about music, maybe just talking about games. We'll see. I don't know. There might be a J.I.D album coming this year. I've heard about another album. I don't know if he's doing a deluxe for the Forever Story. I don't know what's going on with all that. If there's more music this year, I might end up talking about it. That's gonna be about it for this video. I don't know how long it's gonna end up being after the edit, but hopefully it's not too bad, and hopefully I hope some of you were at least able to get through the full length of this video. So at this point I am very tired. I don't want to disclose what time it is. I've kept almost no eye contact with the camera this whole time because I was reading things on my other screen to be able to keep my thoughts together. That is where I'm gonna end it. Finally, this outro has taken way too long. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.